Congratulations, Glenn, and the microphone is yours. Sorry, it was a little late.
No, thank you. Thank you, Michael, and also to all of you, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate the ability to come and talk to you today just a little bit about the First Amendment and freedom of speech, because I do believe it's under attack, and I believe it's under attack by both the left and the right. And we have to wake up as Americans and understand that, as Michael said, there is nobody has the license on speech except all of us, coupled with responsibility. But you know, there's no to me there is no reason to protect speech unless it's offensive. I don't have to protect anybody's speech that everybody agrees with. Why do we have a First Amendment right? We have a First Amendment right because people are offended by it, whether it be the people in power or your neighbors or Alan Combs disagreeing with me or me disagreeing with him. I am always puzzled by people that try to lead boycotts and everything else. Never in my life. I welcomed the progressive movement coming on to talk radio because it makes all of us stronger. If we can come in and debate the issues and we can have any point of view available, that's good. More speech, not less speech. But today it seems that you're not allowed to say things that you believe. Well, to me, it doesn't make any sense. If I would say in today's world, and because we're at I'm accepting a freedom of speech award, so I'm going to say it. If I were to say to you that if you read the Quran, you will be amazed at the absurdities contained within it. The whole world will be set on fire if people decide to take that out of context and play just that which they will. But if I said to you, that wasn't said by me, that's a quote from Thomas Jefferson in the Quran. This is an actual Quran printed while he was in office, and it comes with a disclaimer to the reader. Because we were going to war at the time with the Barbary pirates, he said every American should read the Quran. And printed by the U.S. Congress, it came with the disclaimer. And the last couple of lines say, and you will be amazed at the absurdities and how so many people can believe it. Well, do I hate Thomas Jefferson for saying that? No. Read the Quran and decide for yourself. His first point was, every American should read it. He didn't ban the book. He indeed brought it over to America and printed it and said, you should read it yourself and you decide. That's what we should be encouraging people to do, not shouting people down in the square. Look, if you want to babble on about what you believe, go for it. Say it. Make your case, make your best case, and I'm not going to shut you down. I'm going to make my case. George Washington said, let me meet you on the battlefield of ideas. And because we no longer fight on the battlefield of ideas because we silence people, you have to eventually go to battle. And the story always repeats. You might not like our founders. You may think that the Bill of Rights is nonsense, that they violated some of their own standards. Yes, they did. Tell me any time in American history where people have been perfect. They weren't perfect. We're not perfect now. Our children and our grandchildren will look back at us, and their children's children's children will look back and say, what barbarians. They used to treat cancer with chemotherapy, with poison. Yeah, because that was our understanding at the time. I hope they look back at us as barbarians. I hope that they grow. I hope that they don't look back at these times and say, those were the glory days of America. I hope they've made progress. But you only make progress when you speak your mind, and when you challenge each other, and when, yes, you piss each other off from time to time because we don't agree. History repeats itself. When one group of people decide they know better, whether it is left or right, communist or fascist, it doesn't matter. When one group of people say, I know the answer and you will sit down. We're doing some scary things in our country right now. And they were started by the Republicans, and they're being furthered by the Democrats. Why are we talking about Republicans and Democrats? Let's talk about freedom. What's happening in our schools is insanity with Common Core. Now you take these principles and you play them out to the nth degree. And the only way you can play things out to the nth degree is if you keep people silent. If people want to do something in the schools, they can do school, but don't you dare silence me for raising an alarm. If I want out of that system, don't you dare try to stop my children from getting out of that system. That's the way we keep each other honest. I don't need to put you out of business. I don't need to silence you. Don't try to silence me, because when you do, this is what happens in your schools. This is a very rare copy because they tried to get rid of this. This is actually a teacher's manual from Germany. And it has pictures of how you can tell which kids in your class are most likely Jewish. How to explain to the other children when the Jewish children suddenly disappear. How to explain that it really is for their benefit that those people disappear. How did this monstrosity happen? By allowing people to say, shut up, sit down, and frightening them, and not allowing other people to speak. I think this is monstrosity. This is the actual paper from France that caused all the riots over in Europe. This is the monstrosity making fun of the Prophet Muhammad. Muhammad is not my prophet. Allah is not my God. But this is wrong. But do they have a right to do it? Yes. Should they be silent? Should we have laws to stop them? No. Should we print those things as individuals? No. We should have respect for each other. But do you have the right to do it? Yes. Yes. But this society focuses on rights and not responsibilities. We have a responsibility to be better. We have a responsibility to speak out and speak up if we think something is wrong. And God, as Bonhoeffer said, God will not hold us guiltless. We live in amazing, profound times. Amazing times. This isn't a free ride. The world's being reshaped even as we speak. We have a responsibility to be a part of that shaping, all of us, left and right, Republicans and Democrats, and have an open and honest debate about what is tomorrow going to look like? What is the best way to make sure that we don't trap the next generation into our ideas? I want my children to be able to decide what their world looks like when they're alive, not to be trapped in what I designed. We'd still be playing record players. The world is in dynamic change right now. And if you try to hold it, the harder you hold, the worse things get. And then you end up with horror shows. This is the actual napkin. It was on the Fuhrer when they tried to kill him. These are his bloodstains and the holes from the shrapnel. He survived. Why did somebody do this? Because by the time he had all that power, there was nothing to do but take it. Because people were forced into silence. If you wanted to stand at your window and watch your Jewish neighbors be rounded up, go right ahead. We shoot you and your family if you come to the window. There was a chance to stand up against it, and the Germans failed the test. But make no mistake, so did the rest of the world. This is the original letter from Neville Chamberlain. This is Neville Chamberlain's letter. It was published later in this magazine. This is the original copy of the magazine for the Hitler Youth. This is Neville Chamberlain saying, you know what, I just met with your Fuhrer. He really does want peace. And this whole idea of the Hitler Youth, you are the future of Europe. Well, you can live in your dream world. You can wish and hope all you want. But if you ignore the warning signs, trouble comes. And the biggest warning sign of all, if it comes from Mitt Romney or Barack Obama or anyone, if they tell you to shut up and sit down, it's trouble. If it's a Republican or a Democrat or an independent, if it's a Tea Party person or a person from Occupy Wall Street, if they say shut up, it's trouble in the end. It doesn't have to end that way. There is an answer. And the answer is always tougher the longer you wait. America waited far too long. Far, far too long. And it took very, very brave men to stand up and pass these out on August 28th. This was Martin Luther King's march. But his answer was not sit down and shut up. His answer was, I just want a place at the table. I just want to be able to speak. I don't want a position over you, but I will no longer take a position under you. I am a man. Treat me as a man. You may not like me. You may not appreciate what I have to offer. It doesn't matter. I may not like you. I may not appreciate. But I'm not the judge, and neither are you. In this country, we were supposed to have equal justice. Not equal outcome, but equal justice under the law. Justice is supposed to be blind. And her people were never supposed to be mute. I appreciate CNN for putting me on the air. I appreciate the Fox News Channel for putting me on the air. I am thrilled that I live in a time where I can be associated with Premiere and Clear Channel, and they will stand and make the opportunity for someone, not to guarantee that I get coverage. If I can find an audience, they'll carry me. The day I can't find an audience, they should cancel me. I have been in towns where I couldn't gather an audience. I've called the program director when they had that call to make to Premiere, and Premiere said, and Julie Talbot will tell you, tell them they should have canceled us a long time ago, and I'll call the program director and say, you had nothing. It's me, buddy. It's me. I couldn't get it. It didn't work. Thank you for the opportunity. That's what America is about. The opportunity. The opportunity to be heard. The opportunity to stand out in a street corner or to broadcast if you can gather that audience and say what you believe. But for those in my position, and unfortunately, I don't know of a perfect person. I don't know of anybody who doesn't look back on the last 10, 20 years or their whole life and say, boy, if I had it all over, if I just knew then what I know now. The times that we live in are perilous. If I would have told you 10 years ago that I thought our country could be on the brink of absolute disaster and we would be at each other's throats, I would have said to you, have you seen what happened last year? Have you seen how we all stood on the Capitol stairs together? That's not possible. And yet here we are. And for any role that I have played in dividing, I wish I can take him back. I don't wish I could take back the truth that was spoken, but perhaps, not perhaps, many times I could have said it differently. But I wasn't fully aware of the times that we're living in. We are now living in a completely new era. And there is profound opportunity and profound light just on the horizon ready to dawn. A world that none of us could understand or even design if we tried, because the possibilities are endless. But so are the nightmares. And it will require all of us to recognize what time we're living in, to recognize we have a profound responsibility because of the rights that we have, and stand and protect those rights, not of those people we agree with, but protect the rights of those we vehemently disagree with. Those people who you just, with everything in you, disagree with them. And it kills me to do it. But they have a right to say it. And you stand with those people. That's when we'll heal our country. Thank you very much.